working on a modest scale, which is what most of us do, you gotta keep things simple. This garden, for example, is about 30 feet long by about 20 feet wide. When I worked on the design for this garden, I realized it really needed some pots to give it some architectural interest and soften things up. So I created a collection using an approach that's really easy for you to replicate at home. First, I had to decide where the pots were going to go. Of course, I involved the homeowners in that discussion. Then we decided from there how many pots we needed and how we were going to group them. Steps become more visible with pots on the risers. Here, a pair of round pots echo the rounded edges of the steps. This tall pot and the plants inside it hide ugly electrical outlets. And along this edge, the tall pots take the place of a railing, which the owners wanted to avoid. It's a several-foot drop, but the plants create that visual barrier that says, "Stop! Don't go any further." In this small garden, there's lots of shade and a dark-colored background, so we needed light-colored pots. We chose all pots in this soft ochre color. Different sizes, different shapes, different heights. That provided variety. But they all have the same color. That creates unity. With the pots in place, I turned my attention to the plants. In this garden, I layered plants, both succulent and non-succulent, but all taking the same amount of water and sunlight. I matched the scale of the largest plant to the pot, then surrounded it with plants that had different shapes and sizes. The biggest pot got the biggest plant, this beautiful variegated cordyline, which I underplanted with a succulent string of pearls, which will eventually cascade over the side. In front of it is a little bit smaller pot. I echoed the variegation from the cordyline in the Socorus, and then topped that with a beautiful red flowering salvia. The tall, narrow pot next to it first got planted with a creeping thyme, and then with this tall, narrow lemongrass. When you look at it between plants and pots, the whole composition is in balance. Small spaces and containers go so well together. In fact, it's possible to create an entire garden with potted plants. And that means that not having a yard is no longer an excuse for not having a garden.